All right, so I wanted to share with you how the unit circle is created. That way it will help you to answer some of the questions on future homeworks and definitely will help you in pre-cal. So I just want to give you a quick overview. So you can see how I already got started. I drew the X and Y axis. And then you'll notice all the dotted lines. So the dotted lines, you'll see went through the origin. So that origin right there, that line right there, it cuts it in half. So that's where your 45-degree angle is. That's your 45-degree angle. And then this one also cuts this in half to create a 45-degree reference angle as well. Then you'll notice this angle here, I drew that line right there. This is that 30-degree angle, right? So this is the 30 degrees. So what you're doing is you'll see the triangles that you're making, hopefully. And then the last one, this big one here, is that 60-degree angle. All right, so hopefully you can tell, like I drew the line all the way through. So that's how you can create the unit circle. You draw the line all the way through, so it's symmetrical, okay? So these lines go through, and then you do the reflection. So do the opposite side here. So that's a 30-degree reference angle, 45-degree reference angle, 60-degree reference angle. So it's symmetrical all the way around, so that's pretty cool. So then let's talk about how to do the radians. So it's 30, 60, 90. I'll just do the first half. 120, 150, just joking, it's by 15. 120, 135, 150, 180. Okay, so there's the first half. So you'll see this is 0 degrees, that your increments are either 30s, like 30, 60, 90, 120, 150, 180. They're increments of 30, or they're increments of 45. 45, 90, 135, and then plus 45 more, 180. So around the circle, it's either increments of 30 or increments of 45. So you guys can finish the bottom half on your own. Okay, then let's think about radians. Okay, so this is 30. How many 30s are there? So this will be, that we said this is pi 6. So we've already talked about this is pi 6, right? Because we've already converted that. If you go 30 times, if you go 30 times pi over 180. So 30 times pi over 180 is pi 6. So 30 degrees is the same thing as pi 6. Well, this is another 30. So this is 2 pi 6, right? 2 pi 6. But we're going to reduce that. So 2 pi 6 is pi thirds. So there's pi thirds. Then this is 3 pi 6. Well, 3 pi 6 is pi halves. There's pi halves. Then this is 4 pi 6. So if you say 4 pi 6, that reduces to what? 2 pi thirds. Then you have 5 pi 6, which doesn't reduce. So 5 pi 6. And then 6 pi 6 is 6 over 6 is 1. So there we get pi. Then you have 7 pi 6. Then 8 pi 6. 8 pi 6 reduces to what? 4 pi thirds. Then 9 pi 6 reduces to 3 pi halves. Then 10 pi 6 reduces to 5 pi thirds. And then 11 pi 6. So what I do is I count by pi 6, like 1 pi 6, 2 pi 6, 3 pi 6, and it's every increment of 30, because we've already learned that 30 is the same thing as pi 6. And so you're increasing the unit circle by 30 degrees, 30 degrees plus 30 degrees plus 30 degrees. So it increases by pi 6 as well. Okay, so there is your increments of 30. Now we can do 45. Well, 45 degrees, we've already discussed. 45 degrees, if we do pi over 180, gives you what? Pi fourths. So 45 degrees is pi fourths. Well, then we just start all over. So pi fourths, 1 pi fourths, it's 45 degrees, plus 45 more is 2 pi fourths. Well, 2 pi fourths is pi halves. It reduces to pi halves, so we're right. Here's 3 pi fourths. Then we have 4 pi fourths. 4 over 4 is 1, so we already got that. Then here is 5 pi fourths. 6 pi fourths is 3 halves. And then we have 7 pi fourths. And then 8 pi fourths is 2 pi, okay? Which is also going to be 12 pi 6. So same thing, 12 pi 6 or 8 pi 4. So 2 pi. Can't forget 2 pi. Okay, so there's how you can create the unit circle pretty quickly. It's every triangle is 30. There's 30 degrees, and then there's 60 degrees or 45. So each quadrant has 3 triangles. So each quadrant has 3 triangles. 2 30, 60, 90s and 1 45, 45, 90. And then they're all symmetrical. They flip. Okay, now we've already done this, so I'm not going to spend time on this, but so 30 degrees, we've already done this. If we go back to prior lessons, we discovered that cosine is square root of 3 over 2, 1/2. And this was square root of 2 over 2, square root of 2 over 2 is cosine and sine for 45. And then here we learned that this flips, right? Here is 30 degree angles, 30, 60, 90. So this is 60, 30, 90. So these will flip. So this will be 1/2 square root of 3 over 2. All right, and this is the first quadrant, so everything is plus plus, right? Well, now, since we talked about it, how these are symmetrical, they just flip over. Well, this right here will match with this right here. So this will be 1/2 square root of 3 over 2. But this x is negative, so this will be a negative right there. Then this will flip over here. So it'll be negative square root of 2 over 2, positive square root of 2 over 2. Then this piece right here flips to right there. So this will be, kind of running out of room, this will be what? Negative square root of 3 over 2, comma 1/2. Okay, so the cool thing is they're all reflective. So these match here, and then you can finish the rest of the unit circle on your own because this one would match down here, right? And then this one to here, and then this one to here. Okay, but then keep in mind that when you do your ordered pairs, these cosine and sine will be positive, cosine is negative, but sine is positive. They're both negative in the third quadrant, and then it's plus minus in the fourth quadrant. So be careful of your signs because the numbers will stay the same, but the signs change. And then the last thing, make sure we know, this is the point. This is the point 1, 0. So this is 1, 0. This is what? 0, 1. This is negative 1, 0, and this is 0, negative 1. So a reference angle is normally a acute angle. So if you have a point at 90, there really is no reference angle because you're on the axis, because you cannot draw a triangle if you're on the axis. So a reference angle at 90 really is not a good question. So that's why if you saw my answer sheet, I just say that the reference angle, if you land on the axis, is just it's on the axis because you can't draw a triangle. But if you put pi halves last night on your homework, that's totally fine too. That'll work. I'll take both answers. So hopefully that's a good overview. I did not finish because I didn't want to go too long, but you would just reflect your points here to here. So hopefully that helps. Give me a shot if you need more help. Thanks.